Good day, great day, and grand day to you all. Welcome back to another segment of Dr. TSA Series, a spiritual discussion. We have Randhy here with us. He's back again, gracing us with your presence. How are you?
Good, I'm doing good.
How are you liking the outside scenery, being in nature?
I love it. I love the sound of the birds. They're singing for me, and it gets me fired up. That's what I like about being outside.
Awesome. So I heard you have a question for me, or
I do. I've been finding myself staying longer and longer in my field center. And I would like to stay there for as long as I can. And I've been practicing this every day. Now, my question is, what is the best way to stay in your field center? How can I make staying in my field center take a bigger part of my day?
Okay. All right. So I can answer that question with a question, right?
Right.
When you first started walking, how did you master it?
Falling, getting up.
Falling, getting up, falling, getting up. Do you think about falling and getting up today?
No.
It's first nature. You don't
Right.
even have to think about it, right? When you was in first grade and you was learning how to read, learning your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, do you think about the effort that it takes every day when you make a sentence, when you've formatted that question to ask me? Do you think about the context of the verb, the pronoun, your periods? Did you have to think hard about that?
First nature again.
First nature again. And so the essence of your question is, the more we practice, the more it becomes first nature. We get so caught up in, I didn't do it well this time, or I can't meditate, it's not working out for me. It doesn't work. It will work if you constantly and consistently engage in it until it has become first nature. Instead of beating ourselves up, it doesn't work. We spend more time in criticizing ourselves and saying that it doesn't work than it does, then we actually put forth the work to master it. If we spend less time criticizing ourselves and using that energy to put forth that which we want, constantly working at it, it becomes first nature. It becomes a part of you. And so we have to give ourselves some grace and not necessarily beat ourselves up for not getting it right away. It takes time. All we need to do is make that commitment to practicing daily over and over again until it becomes first nature. Just like being able to live through our essence on a day-to-day basis. It's not going to happen right away. It took so many years for us to get to where we are today. In order to redesign or realign ourselves back with our true sense of self, we have to put to practice the skills or the discipline in meditation, reflection. We have to put in that time so that it becomes, once again, first nature. We used to do it as a child. We just have to return back to that memory and input or practice that on a day-to-day in order for it to be first nature.
And the following question will be, why does it feel so much harder in some days than others?
So our attention, or our spirit's attention, is in competition with all of the distractions around us, right? We have little people running around oftentimes fighting for our attention, right? We have the fire going and we're cooking and we have to attend to it, fighting for our attention. Something we hear on TV that you may want to get, but you have, remembering, let me feel whether this is something for me or not, instead of succumbing to, let me dial that 1-800 number and get this, this item because I've never seen it before, only to realize when you get it, it still doesn't prevent the leak in your roof or whatever. No shade to any advertising agency, but just using that as an example. And so our energy is constantly being pulled, or our attention is constantly being pulled to things around us. But understanding that when we are in the moment and taking heed to the call or what it is that is required of us in the moment is key. My mentors used to always tell me, just because the phone rings doesn't mean that you are required to answer it at that point in time. It could be a test, a challenge to see how centered you can be despite the phone ringing. It's a practice, a discipline, a focus. How do we advance, or how do we strengthen our focus despite what goes on around us? Because in the moment, what's required is focus. And I feel that wind just gracing us as it just feels so good.
And as you're explaining that to me, I also see myself creating microclimates within those environments so I can stay in my field center.
And building that climate, right, is a sense of protection. These forces that protects us from the distractions until our essence says, okay, it's time to respond. I want you to respond to this, and not being easily distracted or easily pulled from these distractions that will always come to challenge our awareness, our focus, our beingness in the moment. It's part of this design. It's paying attention to that, being more and more aware of it, of that, helps us and grows us and helps us to be more centered and grounded. You are at a place where many people are not, that aim to get there, but because of discomfort, because of challenges, because of pain, people, it's difficult for some people to get there. But yeah, it to go back to your first question, it's forming that habit. Just like walking, just like eating, just like, when you were born, you were only on milk. And you built those faculties within you to be able to swallow and then eat bigger meals and harder meals, more dense meals. Same thing.
And how long would that take to get to the end goal, which is to remain in your field center?
I get that question all the time. Once we get to a place where, that's what I need to do to get here, I'm always asked, well, how long is this going to take? Well, Randhy, how long did it take you to get to this point in your life where you lived unconsciously? Where you lived, not you directly, but where one has lived unconsciously and was not paying attention to how long it took them to screw themselves up or to be traumatized and live the way they lived. No one asked that question when we were living our lives freely, absent of the awareness of our spirit. This is not a destination of, okay, I need to get to this place in order for me to be where I need to be. It's a journey. It's about committing to the journey and enjoying every minute of it. There's no limit. There's no place that you have to get to. It's a constant journey where we're constantly evolving, where we're constantly growing, where we're constantly being grateful and having gratitude in the moment of this, and growing in it and discovering more and more of ourselves in this, and our place in this, and how we respond and learn and appreciate in this, and how do we develop that more and more, and how do we grow our commitment, our dedication to that space within us. It's not a how long, or it's not it's a journey. And how do we enjoy that journey with the skills, with the tools that are given to us, with the different people that we are meeting, that we engage in, and how can we challenge ourselves as this continues to change form and bring those challenges to us to, again, grow and grow and grow in consciousness advancement. So it's not a place. I can't answer that.
Right. So I have another question. So what does one must do in order to take on that journey? What does an individual needs to do to prepare for that journey?
The commitment.
Commitment to?
Commitment to the journey. Commitment to wanting to find and discover self. Commitment for peace. Commitment to being better. My mentor used to always says, it's not about being perfect. It's about being good, better, and best. How do we gain? How do we continue to embark on that journey to always be and operate in our highest and best good? That commitment to the journey is key. You talk about how do we prepare. The question is, are we fed up with the old? And do we want to invite the new? Are we tired of our old conclusions that doesn't support us, that doesn't support where you want to be? Are you tired of the conclusions that were made in pain and hurt that constantly brings about pain and hurt? Are we fed up with the old way of living? And do we want to commit on a journey of self-discovery that is endless? So when you talk about preparation, it's really about how desperate are you to embark on this journey. You didn't ask yourself, well, how do I prepare to start walking? You don't ask yourself, how do I prepare to start eating when you're growing? It's about committing to the journey. There are some aspects about life where we want to prepare to go into a school or doing what we need to do in the moment to get accepted to, let's say, an Ivy League school. It's what you do in the moment that leads to the next. So it's how we answer the call in the moment to be our highest and best good.
I also see it as a decision that you make, and then your spirit will accommodate that for you.
Absolutely.
And work with you.
Absolutely. The decision to do and committing to that. Absolutely. Great point. Making decision is the easiest thing that you can do. The journey comes after. But making that decision, committing to it, and moving along.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us
Thank
here.
you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. There you have it once again on Dr. TSA Series, a spiritual discussion. I'm so grateful that you came back on the set with us. Guys, remember that you're loved. Thank you for watching. Namaste. And there you have it on another segment of Dr. TSA Series, a spiritual discussion. Thank you once again all for watching. Remember to click that thumbs up and subscribe. Also, remember you're loved. Namaste.